Ricky Baker, now you are 13 years old. You are a teenager and you're as good as gold. Ricky Baker, happy birthday.
Hello everyone and welcome to the movie calendar. My name is Lee.
And I'm Terrence.
And we didn't choose the skux life.
The skux life chose us.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This week we are going to be talking about the New Zealand favourite, the comedy, drama, the everything, Hunt for the Wilderpeople.
Yep. Really cool. I love that this is one that we're talking about. I actually only have seen this. I've seen it twice. Once, well, the first time was a week ago.
Yeah, so spoilers for those who made it to the end of our last episode of John Wick. Terrence hadn't actually seen Hunt for the Wilderpeople when we announced that we were going to be doing it this week. So it was up in the air as to whether he was going to enjoy it or not. I kind of had a feeling that he would.
I knew I'd like it. I love Taika Waititi stuff. I'd seen so many shorts and so many little trailers of it, and it's always been on my list to watch. I just knew I'd love it. I love everything I've seen Sam Neill do. I love his work, so I thought
he's so good in this.
Winner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, if you are new to the movie calendar, welcome. If you're listening via your favorite audio podcast app, we have a YouTube version available, which is the preferred method of watching for us. And if you are here on YouTube and you don't have the time to sit down and watch us on your devices, there is an audio version on your favorite podcast app as well. However you want to get it, we're just here to talk about the movie, have a good time, and at the very end of the episode, we're going to place the film onto our movie calendar. So the idea is we're going to fill all 365 days with amazing pieces of cinema that branch all kinds of different genres. It's going to be something that when it's all done, you'll be able to flick to a day and pick a film to watch. It's going to be super fun.
And we're not going to be the ones that are choosing all of the days. Hopefully we're not the ones that are going to be choosing all the days. We want your input as well. So we've got different ways you can get in contact with us. We are on Twitter at The Movie Cal. We're also on Instagram at The Movie Cal. We have a website, which is themoviecalendar.com. And we have an email address as well. So if you just want to reach out to us and tell us a little story or submit your own dates for the movie calendar, it is themoviecal@gmail.com.
Perfect. Nailed it.
That was in one breath.
Really cool. Well done.
You can comment on any of our on any tweets, on any Instagram posts, comment with your calendar dates or anything you want to say there as well. But big conversations, put them in
right
the email.
Here on YouTube as well. If you're joining us there, feel free to jump in the comments below. We'll be able to reply in there as well and have a good chat about the films. But yeah, it's really exciting.
Right. Well, let's start chatting about the film.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So Taika Waititi's Hunt for the Wilderpeople. Let the film discussion begin. I absolutely adore this movie. Much like the episode that we did last week on John Wick, I missed this one in the cinema. It was recommended to me after the fact by one of my managers at the time, surprisingly enough. She'd seen it and recommended I give it a go, and I'm so glad that I did. It is absolutely hysterical. One of the funniest movies that I've ever seen.
I watched this with my wife, and I never watch something with my child the very first time we see it, if it's not specifically for children. But to be honest, I didn't even look at what the rating was going to be, and I regret not watching it with my daughter sooner. We just couldn't lock in a time where we're going to... So it sounds like she's out working, and she's 10. We just had things on, school and all that. But I want to sit down with her and watch it. I think she'll enjoy it. She'll love it. She loves that type of humour. It's such a beautiful film as well. The comedy is just outstanding. The delivery is perfect. All the cast are brilliant. Not only great actors, but great actors that can deliver comedy extremely well. And that's an extra skill to master for an actor as well. But I think this is a film for everyone, except for my mother. She didn't like it.
Oh no!
Okay. Yeah, I was talking
she's
to her about
cancelled.
it. I'm like, hey, listen to our next episode. And she goes, yeah, I'm very proud of you. Oh, this is nice. I said, Hunt for the Wilderpeople. And she goes, oh yeah, I saw some of that. I didn't like it at all. Not my humour.
Wow.
Okay.
Unreal.
Now, yeah, it's weird when I talk to her now. There's this really weird
It's a rift.
Weird vibe going on.
I know that feeling all too well with some of my friends and family who don't appreciate good cinema. No, it's fine. Cinema is objective, just like all art. And yeah, if you like something that I don't, or I like something that you don't, it doesn't lessen the experience for either of us. It's all fine. We're here to have a good time and celebrate cinema.
Yep.
And this is definitely one to be celebrated. Yeah, I was half a mind as to whether to recommend this one that you watch with your kids or not, because whilst it does have a PG rating here in Australia, there is a little bit of violence, especially and full spoilers as well going ahead. If you have not seen Hunt for the Wilderpeople, hunt it down. Check out your local streaming services, or you can rent or buy it. Or pick up physical media as well if you're still going for that sort of thing. But yeah, this is definitely one that you want on the shelf to watch every single year at a date to be determined. It's just gorgeous. But yeah, I wasn't sure as to whether to recommend that you watch it with the kids or not, because there is a bit of violence, especially the moment with the hog for the first time where Auntie Bella jumps on and starts throwing the blade into the hog, and it's funny. It's played for laughs.
But Ricky has a brilliant response. It's pretty accurate to what a kid would probably be feeling. A kid from the suburbs or from the city, Yeah. Yeah. I warned my daughter.
Drops the rifle and faints.
I told her about that. I said, "Hey, we should watch it. I just want to let you know there's a scene where we see an animal get killed, but we don't see it. We just know it's happening. There's blood and it's a knife." And she was listening to me going, okay, I can do that. And she's kind of just calculating in her head whether or not she could. So we'll see how
she hasn't seen it yet.
No.
I'd love to get her reaction. If she watches it in the next week, next week's episode, I might get a catch up on that if you're able to sit down and watch it with her.
Yeah, all right.
If you are here and you haven't seen the film and you just want to listen to us have a bit of banter around, that's great as well. I'll give you a quick little rundown as to what the film's about. It's about a 13-year-old bad egg of a kid, as he's called in New Zealand.
A real bad egg.
A real bad egg. So he's an orphan kid, and he gets sent out to a farm out in the middle of the bush to live with this couple. It's Auntie Bella and Uncle Hec. Auntie Bella is just a sweet woman who you can tell has just kind of wanted to have a kid to love, to take someone in and take care of them, and the couple love each other very much. And the man is an old gruff Australian bloke who very very bushman. There's you can see it in his eyes. He's lived out in the wilderness for quite some time, and it's about kind of them sort of going on a journey together, and that's kind of all I'll say. If that intrigues you and you want to go and watch it now, then please feel free, and then come back and continue on. Otherwise, from here on out, full spoilers.
One thing you didn't mention, Lee, is we've got descriptions time codes in the description. So if you do want to skip ahead, go for it. We'll put it down there, make it easy for you if you want to get to the juice that you came here for and you don't have the time to listen to us.
Yeah, feel free to jump around.
Yeah. All right, that was a good description. Cool. Let's get into it. How do you want to kind of dissect this film? Where should we start?
You can't talk about this film and not talk about how funny it is. Those who aren't aware, Taika Waititi is the director of this film, who's a New Zealand film director. You probably know him best from Jojo Rabbit and Thor Ragnarok, the two biggest films that he's done, and he's also directed episodes of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus if you're a Star Wars fan. His other films include Eagle vs. Shark, Boy, and What We Do in the Shadows. And if you haven't seen any of those films, check them out as well. They are all fantastic, really heartfelt. He's really good at bringing heart into the humor as well. There's no real point in having a comedy unless it's got a bunch of heart, in my opinion, and this one has it in immeasurable amounts. It's brilliant. But no, I'd love to talk about some of the comedy first, because it's you can't go past it. It's too good.
All right, well, should we start near the beginning? Well, we don't have to go chronologically, but let's talk about one of the funniest things that happens near the very beginning. It happens twice in this film. Since watching it, I've seen, going online, I didn't do too much research with this, but I did look into a couple of things that interested me, and I've seen T-shirts with this written all over it, and I took the time to actually write it down, and it is the quote that the Child Welfare Services lady, Paula, says to Bella to
when he's describing Ricky. Yeah.
She's describing Ricky.
It's the exposition dump that you get for our lead character of Ricky Baker.
It's so good. And it's not enough just to say, what about how she describes it? And then we talk about a couple of things. I wrote it down because it has to be heard in its entirety. Once again, we're not going to do this with every single quote in the film because this film is pretty much just quote, banger after banger. So here it is. Here he is. He is, I'm reading this. A real bad egg. We're talking disobedience, stealing, spitting, running away, throwing rocks, kicking stuff, defacing stuff, burning stuff, loitering and graffitiing. And that's just the stuff we know about.
It's so good. And every single one that she says, the visual storytelling language that happens as well, it's sharp cuts of him doing all of these things, and it's hilarious. Some of them are all in one. So the spitting, running away is all done in one shot. Where he spits off a bridge and just stops and then runs in the other direction.
My favourite one is the loitering. And he's
loitering
on the side of the road screaming up to the sky. He might just be singing or something.
Yeah.
And kicking stuff. I love it. I should also point out, as Australians, it is very, I'm not going to say easy because we don't do it right often, but it's very easy to want to fall into I'm going to imitate a New Zealand accent. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my best not to do that.
I'm fully going to do it.
I'm going to tell you now.
I'm just not going to be able to stop myself. I mean, I've ever since this film came out, I have been quoting Taika Waititi, especially him as the minister in the church. Yeah, and if you haven't heard the name Taika Waititi before, with Thor Ragnarok, if you've seen that film and you love that film, the character Korg, the big rock monster, that is Taika Waititi. So that is him. He plays that character as well as directing that film. So, and every line that he has in that movie is gold.
He is one of the directors that will put himself into the film. I think he loves his work so much, and he also can bring his characters to life the exact way that he feels they should be done. I don't know if that's the reason he's in the films. He's a brilliant actor as well.
He's great.
An incredible director. So, and of course he plays the minister in this film also. But the way he does that is just unbelievable. And the lines, the way he picks his words. He wrote this as well, didn't he? Did he write it?
Yeah, he adapted it. He adapted it from the book. So it's based off a New Zealand book called Wild Pork and Watercress by Barry Crump. Mm-hmm. I was very glad I didn't say Billy Crudup. Every time I've tried to say Barry Crump, I've kept saying Billy Crudup, who is he's an American actor.
Almost famous.
He is a name, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you might know him from Watchmen, Zack Snyder's Watchmen, he plays Dr. Manhattan in that film. Is where I know him from. But yeah, so Barry Crump wrote the book, so this is adapted off. The reason why Taika didn't want to call the film Wild Pork and Watercress was because he didn't want to have a movie that had the word pork in the title, which I just love that as a fun fact. He just is like, it felt weird. So and it didn't have a lot of urgency either, so he wanted to change it. So yeah, Hunt for the Wilderpeople became the title, cool. Which is a much better title. Sorry,
I like
Barry.
how he brought that in with the writing, with the wildebeest, and how they tied it in. And it wasn't an epiphany of, hey, let's call ourselves the Wilderpeople. It was really nice how they drew it out and brought it in later on. That was nice. All right. Let's do some more funnies. Let's talk more comedy. What else do you?
Well, there's so many right in that opening scene when he, gets out of the police car out that old rundown home and just walks around and then has a look at the surroundings and then just gets back in the police car. They finally get him back out and then they're about to leave and Auntie Bella explains what's going on. Hi, I'm Bella. You can call me Auntie, and that's Heck. You can call him Uncle Heck if you like. And no, he can't. Off in the distance. And then she's just... if you haven't seen the film, Ricky's quite a heavy kid. He's quite a big kid, and so which which comes into play when Auntie Bella is like, "Oh, come on, come inside. We'll fix you something to eat. You hungry? Of course you are. Look at you."
Man, she's got a great laugh, doesn't she?
Oh, she's so good. She is infectiously warm and loving.
Yeah. She
and
does
homely
another fat joke laugh before that too, and just gives her the biggest outburst of laughter.
She laughs with her entire body.
Oh man!
And you can't help but laugh along. It's so great. Yeah. So I want to talk about her for a second. We'll talk about the funnies in a bit, but there's we've said spoilers. She's not in the film for very long. We unfortunately lose her quite early and in a quite an abrupt way, in a way that you just don't see coming. But her warmth and love is just throughout the entire film. It's set up so well. Her relationship with her husband and with Ricky is just, it's so well established in such a short time frame. Like, it's super efficient. It's about kind of 15 to 20 minutes in that she goes, and she's felt through the entire film, just in so many little moments of, you know, her tucking the hot water bottle into his bed, or, you know, making sure that he's got books because she heard that he likes reading. And you can tell how much she cares, you know, teaching him how to do things on the farm. And there's a real love there, and it's felt the entire way.
It's nice how she's, and this is what you would expect out of any loving family. And this is something I want to talk about later as well, but how she sees Ricky for what she is, for what Ricky is, not for what he's done and what we've seen and heard, which is how Child Welfare Services knows of Ricky. They just know about the stories they hear. They have no idea about what kind of a nice kid he is, you know? Heck talks about him at the end. Sam Neill's character says, "You're quite a likable kid." You know, and it's like, oh, it's really good. And Heck and Bella could both see that, even though Heck is, you know, not going to show it. But it was a nice way to weigh up the two worlds, and let her be the one to let Ricky know, you know, there's love here and you're welcome here. It's very nice. Yeah, she's just so grateful, I think, to have Ricky in her life, and as is explained later by Heck, that she's such a loving person who didn't really have a family of her own, and so would take in strays like him, like Ricky, like the dogs, so that she could create a home for them. And the character development in this movie is so well done, because it doesn't rely heavily on exposition. The moments are in there, of course, because you have to have them, but it's all of the character development stuff is done through actions, which is super useful. I'm not sure if you noticed or not, but the use of silence in this film is really well done, especially in the opening. Our two lead characters of this movie, so Ricky and Uncle Heck, they don't speak a word of dialogue until 10 minutes into the movie. Wow.
And then even then, it's just a couple of words to each other, where Ricky's eating the pancake and he says, "Good pancake. Auntie said that you should give me some work to do. What should I do?" And he says, "Leave me alone." Cool. And that's it. And that's the first time that those characters open their mouth in the entire for the first time in the film. I didn't really notice it until I just watched it again recently. But they don't speak to each other, and you kind of just learn a lot about them in that silence. You kind of get the stoicism of Uncle Heck and kind of the stubbornness of Ricky, and then soon after that, the next thing that he says when he's with Auntie Bella is he just starts reciting a haiku. Which is just such an interesting character trait. Like, oh wow, like all we know about this kid so far is that he's a deviant, essentially. You know, spitting, running away, throwing stuff, burning stuff. And then all of a sudden he comes out and he's like, oh yeah, this woman made me learn haikus as a way to express myself. And so he just starts making up these haikus, and it's such a really nice piece of character development, because it makes him more sort of three-dimensional than what we're given so far. And those moments are just throughout this film. And I'll talk about some more of them. But it's really, really well done, and not done in a way where, you know, it's a character telling someone else, you know, oh, he likes this, or this is what he's like. It's him being who he is. And we see that change over time. But hey, let's talk about more of that heavy stuff later on.
let's talk about more funny
Oh, you
things.
thought that was heavy. You wait until I get into it.
Okay, that can start the heavies later on. Let's talk more comedic actions, because I know if I don't get these out now, it's going to be the end of this episode, and I'm going to say, wait, what about this thing?
Okay, sure.
How good was this? All right. Now, I do have a few of these written down. I have a few, and these might not be in order, but I love when after the shed burns down and Child Welfare Services is there and Paula is looking through the debris and she runs her finger across the rim of the
He's drawn his
plate.
face on a plate to try and fool them that he's burned himself in the barn.
And she looks at her fingers as if this is. Okay, now will I know? This ain't no burnt foster kid. And then the other cop, Andy, goes, how can you tell, Paula? She chucks the plate at him. I just, those little things are hilarious.
Those two characters are absolute standouts. Wonderful, wonderful comedic performances from everyone in the film. But yeah, they are absolute standout. Paula, the child welfare woman who thinks she's like a cop in an American TV show. Like
starts reading rights at the end. It's more of an American thing.
We don't say that in New Zealand. Oh, I'm doing the New Zealand accent already. I do apologise. It's just going to happen.
It's all right. We've said you will and I won't. But I love that. She reads the rights and goes, it's more of an American thing. You're not even a cop. I didn't realise she wasn't a cop.
No, because she thinks she is.
It didn't even click to me. They do have a good rapport as well. I wonder if they've worked together before. It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't think they have. No, she has been in, I think, all of Taika's films.
Really?
And he is a writer actually who
cool.
In New Zealand, and an actor, a really good actor as well. And he and Taika are friends.
That's cool. I noticed a little friend link later on, another funny bit when Ricky does his second haiku about Kingy and how he doesn't like Kingy, and straight after that Bella's like, Kingy's no more haikus today. Well, is he a character or is it the name of one of the actors?
No, I think he's a character in the film Boy.
Oh, okay. Because I think it's a surname of one of the actors in this film as well.
It's the
father of the girl.
Kingy's a link to another of Taika's films, Boy. Yeah,
well, I wonder, maybe it's
fairly certain.
Maybe it's a common name. I don't know.
Yeah,
and here's my ignorance on New Zealand culture and everything international. Sorry, everyone. So that okay. Lots there. Those two, the way they bounce off each other the whole way through is really cool. I don't know. Where do I go? I've got my things.
That's right. I'll jump in. You're getting a little bit excited, which is wonderful. But I've got a lot as well.
Tone me down.
No. Fire you up is what I want. There's I think my favorite line in the entire film, and objectively the funniest line in the entire film. It's in the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer and you haven't seen the film, don't. But if you ever just want to hear this line again, you can throw on the trailer because it's in there. And it's when they're lost together in the bush after Bella dies. Ricky runs away and Heck goes to find him and they end up going on the run together. And it's a big manhunt. The police are chasing them down, and they catch up with Ricky on either side of the ravine. There's a ravine that the cops can't get to, and Ricky's on one side, and they're trying to, how like come back over here, Ricky. It's fine. And he's like, no, you'll never catch me. And as Paula, the child welfare woman is like, oh, I'm not going to stop hunting you. I'm relentless. I'm like the Terminator. And he's like, no, I'm more like Terminator than you. He's like, no, I said it first. You're more like Sarah Connor. Oh, but in the first one, before she could do chin-ups,
she could do push-ups. And Ricky's like, what? No way. I want to be Terminator. And then she tries to entice him over. We got Scroggin.
Yes.
I don't know how. Mix. Is that that's trail mix? Is that just an Australian or a New Zealand thing?
In New Zealand, it's called Scroggin.
It is in Australia as well.
I've never heard of it being called Scroggin before. I've only ever had it be called trail mix. So if you're not from New Zealand or Australia and you were wondering what that is, in the US it's known as trail mix, or the rest of the world. There's lots of there's lots of little things like that are localized, but kind of add to the world, and are really cool.
But that's fine. And while she's holding up the bag and describing, there's nuts and chocolate. Andy, the police officer, starts gazing at the bag of Scroggin like, really? And that comes later on as well.
Yeah, when he's sitting there munching on it later.
Yeah. When they do that really awesome panning edit.
Yeah, they do two of those in the film. And that's all done in camera, where it's just
really
on a tripod. Yep. It's using just extras and stunt doubles. It's all done, and people running behind the camera to get in different positions. It's all done in camera. There's no Weta trickery in there at all. It's all real, which is really impressive.
Wow, you just got me backtracking through. I'm going to watch that again now.
Yeah, watch the scene. There's a couple of scenes. One with sort of just Ricky, where the camera just sort of spins around in a circle, and he sort of runs behind the camera, and then he'll be walking off in the distance. That'll be a stunt double, but that's all one take, and there's no movie magic done. It's all done with doubles.
That's really amazing,
and it's all in camera, as they say, and it's excellent filmmaking. It's
a good way to keep the production costs down.
Yeah, not an expensive movie. This one made on the cheap.
Oh, cool. Okay, another bit when they're lost and Ricky's. I don't know. They've cut from some other scene directly in, and you hear this music, this like 90s hip hop, and Ricky's dancing to it, and there's a close up on his feet shuffling away, and he's doing these cool moves, and he's wearing a Walkman made of leaves and branches. He's been stuck out in the wilderness for too long, and he's kind of gone a bit crazy. His delirium is bringing music into his mind.
If you look around in the background, he's actually made a few things as well. Like there's like a bike made out of sticks, and
they do a few of those pans around. Just I guess that's a nice little tool to show the passing of time, and they have been there for quite a long time. Which honestly, the very first time I saw it, I did miss. And I was thinking, wow, Heck's ankle got better real quick, because I saw him
like set up camp.
They did really nice.
They'd been there for weeks.
They did nice transitions, because he gets up with his crutch and tests walking on his ankle,
and then he's just walking off.
It's a bit tender, and then he's walking off. And the second time I watched
very clever.
I'm ready to nail into this, and I'm going to talk a bit about this on the episode. And then I realized, he's actually wearing different clothing.
Yeah.
That was a jump in time there. Yeah. So
it's edited really well. Brilliant editing, and it's like I mentioned before, it's really efficient in all kinds of storytelling, with its character development, and its humor, and with its editing and pacing. It's part of that, I think, comes down to it did a really interesting cinematic technique of breaking the film up into chapters. I really liked that. I liked it as a mechanism in this particular film. It kind of, it's a really nice harken back to its origins as being a novel, and it keeps the pace going, and keeps the intrigue as well. I feel breaking it up into those chapters.
I'm guessing the chapters would have been the same chapters in the book.
I honestly don't
hope that they would.
Don't know. They might be. They might not be. I haven't read the novel, so I'm not sure.
I thought it was interesting, especially because Heck can't read. There's some parallel going on there that, Ricky helps him realize reading is not silly, and he becomes a reader at the end. He's teaching himself how to read, and that's kind of a nice little theme that goes through it.
Yeah, well, there's the interesting link there between Uncle Heck not knowing how to read, and them being stuck at that camp for the first time. That's the moment where Ricky Baker finds out that Uncle can't read, and so he starts, having a go at him, as a 13-year-old boy would do.
Yeah.
And Uncle Heck understandably gets angry and starts charging towards him, and twists and breaks his ankle, which kind of forces them to be in the one spot and learn to kind of work together for a little bit to survive while his foot heals. But I noticed there's only really 3 times that Heck gets angry in the movie, and every time he does, something bad happens.
Oh, really?
So that's the first one, is he gets angry at Ricky because he's teasing him, which fair enough. I probably would as well. And so he gets his ankle broken.
He does
I've written them
knuckle
down.
crunch.
Yep. He's having a go at Ricky because Ricky keeps calling himself a gangster. And he's like, oh, and Hex just had enough of it. And he turns around. And he's like, you're not a bloody gangster. Like, I know gangsters. Like, you're not. You're too soft. And he's yelling at him. And it's at that moment his yelling is so loud. That's when the wild hog comes up over the hill and almost kills them.
Oh,
When Ricky has to step in and shoot. Yeah, when the dogs
run off.
And the dog, when the dog has to be put down is because he was yelling at Ricky so loud this hog came up over the hill and started attacking them.
No.
Yep.
No, he yells at Ricky and the dogs just go nuts and bolt.
No,
the hog is in a little creek.
He yells and he looks up and there's the hog. I watched it back. Yeah, because I wanted to check to make sure if I was right. And then the third one is at the standoff right at the end where they're kind of their version of the Alamo. And and he's in
Ricky's
the car
like,
yard. He's molesting me
and
so he starts getting really angry and then he gets shot in the back.
In the back or the butt. Where
in the bum.
Shot?
He gets shot in the bum, by Ricky.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so every time Heck gets angry, something bad happens to him.
Wow.
Which I don't think is an
Big
accident.
lesson.
I'm sure that would have been written in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's building tension and, you come up to a climax and boom, we get hit. Yeah, I'm going to rewatch the hog scene because I thought they were in a creek. Remember, they run to where it is and the dogs are down there.
They end up down in the creek.
He has to jump down into the creek to get to where the dogs had run to. Yeah. And they're fighting, and he gets hurt, and that's when the other hog comes.
But what precedes that is a massive argument.
Yeah, up on the hill. Anyway, I don't think that happened because of it, but I think it was more a story writing thing. All right, I'm going to watch it again with my daughter, and I'll ring you, Lee, and I'm going to say, boy, I was right. I don't know. Okay, let's move on. on. When the girl on the horse appears after they've gone to one of the huts and they find a ranger who is near death. He's obviously had some like a hypoglycemic event and he's nearly gone.
Diabetic.
And Ricky runs down and finds help. That whole segment was just out of the blue. I thought that was a beautiful little nugget to place in this film. It was just beautiful. And
it helps set up the end and you don't realize that it's doing it. It kind of takes you a couple of times to be like, to settle into it. Like it's really odd that they ran because they're having such a good time kind of out in the wilderness on the run. Yeah. They're just planning on kind of living out there forever.
Yeah.
And then Ricky finds himself back in civilization for a wink of a moment. Is kind of enjoying himself a little bit too much and falls asleep on the couch. But that whole sequence again is hilarious because that young girl's dad is just is so good asking for the selfie and
that was great. But
you take a selfie. Take a selfie of us.
It's not called a selfie if I take it. But she is incredible.
Amazing.
I spoke at the beginning about the pacing and the delivery of all these actors. The way she does it, she's probably got more lines than Sam Neill's character in the whole thing.
Probably.
She speaks so quickly. And, I love it. She's like, I talk too much. People say I talk too much. Just tell me if I talk too much, I'll stop talking. You want to join?
Yeah. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, nah, just kidding. The way she flicks in and out, she has this cold delivery.
That sarcasm. She just speaks pure sarcasm.
She has this beautiful laugh like Bella, in the same vein, the way that Bella laughs with her whole body and you totally believe it. Same with this girl. It's very hard to see people laugh in a way that doesn't feel like they're acting laughing. It was really, really nice.
I'm not sure who she is. I didn't have her name written down, but you're absolutely right. She was amazing. A fun fact about her getting that role, she wasn't supposed to be in the movie. She was a friend of someone who was going to audition, and who had when you go for an audition, you have like a little notice to the character description before you go in. And her friend read the character description and gave it to her and said, "This is you. Like you need to go and read for this."
Cool.
And that's how she
really
got the
cool.
part. Yeah, really
that's
cool.
Nice. I thought you were going to say something like they were waiting and she was acting it out, and her friend went for the audition, didn't get it, and her friend got it. That would really suck. Oh, that's
It's not a Mel Gibson in Mad Max scenario.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, maybe we'll talk about that one later on. But that's nice to know. This movie's nice all throughout. It looks like, just the way she plays music as well, and how she sings, and the dad comes in and sings. It was so beautiful. And
classic Taika trope, that one where those two are having that intimate moment with the guitar, and then the shot pulls back, and the dad's there, and he's been in the room the whole time. That's a very classic Taika thing.
Really?
Yeah. Someone's been in the room the whole time, and you just didn't know.
Oh, very cool. And
I listened to the audio commentary for the first time.
Yeah.
And he constantly, referring to certain shots, Taika Waititi is doing the director's commentary, and he's like, "Oh, that's such a classic Taika trope."
Does it count if you name your own tropes?
Oh, he can.
He's allowed.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
He's so great.
Exactly. And what I don't know, I like when Ricky's telling Heck the story, when they finally catch up to each other again, and he's like, "So you listened to a song, you had a sausage, and you fell asleep." He's like, "Yeah, but it was, what did he say? It was a lovely song, and it was a lovely sausage."
Yeah.
I can't remember the word he used.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's great.
Beautiful. But yeah, that whole scene was really really beautiful, and I love how Ricky, he reaches out at the end, and
when she goes up on the horse.
It's cool. That he names the dog Tupac, and and again, back to the beginning, what should I name him? I want to name him something that reflects his personality, something like what are the names?
Psycho,
Megatron,
or Tupac.
What's a Tupac?
Who's Tupac? Yeah.
He's just
this really cool guy who's like my best friend.
My best friend. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. All right, there are a couple more really funnies that I want to say.
All right.
The when he's talking to the girl, and he's really cool. He's my uncle. He's like the best bushman in the country, and he taught me everything he knows. So we're pretty much the two best bushmen in the country. That is cool. When he gets back to the hut. After being with the girl and her dad, he gets back to the hut and he's peering over and he sees all the police there, and they're all in their SWAT gear, their full get up, and he goes, "Ninjas!"
I've literally got ninjas exclamation point written down in my notes. Yeah.
And then he sees the canine squad, and he goes, "Dire wolves!"
Yeah.
And then child welfare, the worst of the lot of them.
Yeah.
And they do the whole bit where the news reporters are out in the field reporting, and the male reporter is like, "This reminds me of John Rambo, First Blood, except there are two of them, and they're somewhere out there beyond the cutty grass." And, it's just...
Cutty grass is such a Australian and New Zealand thing.
It's so good. The dangers of the wild. All right, there are lots of more funny things. I think we might get to them as we dot through.
Yeah, I've got a couple for in What About When, but I love that surprise Rhys Darby in this film, turning up towards the end, very welcome. Literally surprise Rhys Darby. If you don't know who Rhys Darby is, he's a brilliant New Zealand comedian. You should check out some of his stuff. He's got some great stand up.
Yeah, look at Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say, Flight of the Conchords. He's in other Taika films too.
Yep. Yeah, excellent. Check him out. He's well worth your time. And he rocks up kind of in the last third of this film, and as Psycho Sam, and invites them into his home. And I love when Ricky's like, why do they call him Psycho Sam? And he comes out with colanders and puts them on their heads. He goes, "There you go. This will stop the government from tracking you." And Ricky's, never mind.
That's why. Yeah, never mind. And the mouldy biscuits.
The mouldy biscuits are so gross. Yeah, he was going for it.
Oh.
Yeah, awful. Yeah, right, Psycho Sam was great.
That's cool. And the Terminator bit where they're at the ravine, the ravine that you mentioned, that they're about to go down. Stay there, and it's a bit too slippery for them. And you come over here. You come here. It's fine. It's safe. Just hold on to all the roots and branches and stuff. Come up. Just the awkwardness. I think they all do awkward brilliantly.
Yeah.
And
awkward and sarcasm is just so good in this entire movie.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. A lot of other things we've got to talk about.
I think we're going to hit on a lot of the other comedic things that I want to talk about in the segment that we do called "What About When." I'd love to talk about some drama because I knew the film was funny, right? I hadn't seen it for a while. I saw it when it first came out. I've seen it a few times, and then rewatching it sort of this last week, I put it on, and as I was taking my notes, give you a bit of a peek behind the curtain, I wrote comedy at the top of my page so I could sort of write down the comedic bits, and then quite early on I then sort of halfway down the page wrote the word drama to see like some drama points. I ended up writing more things in the drama section than I did in the comedy section. And drama doesn't necessarily mean sad or harrowing. It's just these little character moments that that expand the world and let us learn a little bit more about our characters. And so there's a few that stand out. I mean, the biggest one, and I've got it as my first What About When, but we've mentioned it here already, and I'd love to talk about it now. And it's when, we're completely not expecting it. Ricky's just had his birthday, his 13th birthday, and he's been welcomed into this home, and he's quite happy there now. He's not running away anymore. And so the next day he gets a dog for his birthday, a brand new dog. So he's out training it, playing fetch, having a good time, running around the grass, and all of a sudden Tupac, the dog, just starts running to the house. He's like, "Slow down, Tupac, what's going on?" And just walks around the barn, and you just see like half-hung sheets on the clothesline, and Uncle Heck just on the ground, bawling his eyes out, cradling Auntie Bella, who's just on the ground, and you instantly know what's happened. And he peeks around the corner, and you are completely taken with the rug pulled out from under you. You are not ready for this, and then it just smash cuts straight to the funeral of just the cardboard box in the tiny church. It's just you do not expect it, and it's I think very purposeful and very powerful, that moment. The film's much better off. It was so sad to lose Bella. She was, as I said, such a warm character, the catalyst of her dying for them running away into the bush together was really clever and unexpected.
I think you mentioned earlier that there was. Oh, did you mention it? Or maybe I was thinking it. But there's a theme of Bella that goes throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, and so she's felt throughout the entire film.
Now she's felt, obviously, because both of them have gone through the loss of her, especially Heck. He's just constantly grieving through pretty much the entire film, and everything he does, every time he loses it and gets angry, you can boil down to his loss of patience, and he's reacting, and this is a way that he's actually allowed to grieve.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just boils over every now and then because he's going through all this stuff as well. But I was watching and trying to look a bit deeper, and I thought, she plays this amazing Ricky Baker birthday song on the Casio keyboard, and I realized that the entire film is scored. And I'm not talking where they play music. They play a Leonard Cohen song, and they'll play music. But where you see the score that drives the emotion in some scenes with just a nice little music piece, it's played on what I imagine to be that same Casio keyboard. It's played through some little 80s synth. All of it. I think it even opens with the music of that. They love the drone shots. New Zealand's a beautiful, picturesque place, so drones everywhere. Gorgeous. And, why not do it in a place like that? But that Casio keyboard appears all throughout the whole thing. Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that. That's I didn't pick up on that.
It was nice how they did that with the music.
Yeah, the music was stunning. Like the music throughout the entire film is just gorgeous. But no, I hadn't picked up on that. That's really sweet. That's a really nice touch.
That was one. You know, the Leonard Cohen song that came in, I wish I wrote it down, but the lyrics...
Taika is a huge Leonard Cohen fan.
Man, it talks about... I can't even remember, but it's directly relevant to losing someone and looking for freedom. And, you know, it's a really nice song that ties everything that happens into it. So maybe I'll try and search for it before we go so I can say the name of the song. But there's also that scene, and I thought there's got to be something more to it, where they see this thought to be extinct bird.
Yeah, the Huia.
The Huia. And I quickly had a look on Wikipedia to see what I could find, and, you know, it is an extinct bird, and it was quite important with the Maori culture, you know, to wear feathers, and only people of high stature in a community would actually wear the feathers, and they'd use them to trade. And the bird was on the North Island, and so if you saw it on the South Island, it was used for trade, you know. So very special to everything. But the bird
it's actually quite a sad story how that bird went extinct.
Yeah. Well, before we go there,
continue.
Bird was also a female bird, and that might have actually signified Bella. That was something that, you know, she brought these two together. And at the end of the film, it's the bird, you know, at least, you know, they talk about,
going to search for again.
Let's make an excuse for us to get back together. You know what?
Yeah.
I've got to help you find that bird. You know, they do love each other, and they will go together, but it's that bird again. So I felt maybe that bird had something really strong to hold, and the bird was seen in the location where Ricky brings out Bella's ashes. Yeah,
it's after that moment he's comfortable enough to show Heck that he's been carrying Bella the entire time.
Yeah.
To finally lay her to rest at that waterfall. Mm-hmm. But look, if you want to learn a little bit of history, it'll be in the time code below if you want to skip this, but there's a cool little story that I learned listening to the audio commentary of the film. Taika talks about how the Huia went extinct, and sort of its last known sightings was around in the 1920s. There are reports of it in the 50s, but they were never
substantiated
found to be true. Yeah, never substantiated. But there was a prince who came over to New Zealand for a trip. I don't remember exactly which prince it was. And as a gift, they gave him one of the tail feathers from the Huia bird, and he ended up taking it back. And it was just this thing where it became so popular that everyone wanted to have this feather. Oh. And so these birds were literally hunted to extinction for their feathers, and traded out to the UK as well. So yeah, really, really sad story as to how the bird went. And Taika says that he always dreamt of you know, being out with, or camping or hiking and spotting one. It's still something that he would think about when out in the country and in the bush. Always keep your eye out, because you just never know. Yeah.
I guess it might be very similar to our Tasmanian tiger.
Yes,
you know, it's an elusive,
the Tasmanian tiger,
extinct being that some still think are there, and, you know, who knows? It's vastly untouched wilderness in both of those parts of the world. Yeah. I think when I looked at it, I read also that it was quite an easy bird to catch. And they would catch one of the birds, but because they were so strong with their partnerships, they would catch one and just wait for the other one to come when it called for its mate.
Oh, wow.
And they'd capture the other one like that as well. Yeah, that's pretty sad. But anyway, getting back to it, I think Bella...
But interesting nonetheless.
Bella carries through the whole film.
Timestamp will come back in here, back to the film discussion. Welcome back if you skipped over the Huia story. There's... The character development for Ricky, there's a really, really poignant moment where Heck and Ricky are just starting to get to know each other out in the bush, and he starts telling the story about Amber, his friend Amber, and you don't hear a lot, but you can see it on Sam Neill's face when he tells the story about, she went to this, my friend went to this family, and she started getting into trouble because she was telling, you know, stories about the dad, and you piece it together so quickly, and Uncle Hector does as well, and he it's the first time that he's kind of empathizes with Ricky, because he's like, oh wow, this kid has legitimately led a tough life, and to be so young. It plays but not that exact moment. Oh no, it does. This exact moment plays back a bit later when they realise that they're wanted men. You know, they're being hunted down. There's a reward for them, and they're deciding whether to run or he's deciding whether to hand Ricky back. He's like, just go back, you'll be fine. They'll put you in another family, and Ricky just yells and it's like, shut up, you're not listening. Nobody listens to me. There's no more homes. There's only juvie.
Yep.
And yeah, Uncle Heck's like, well, what's juvie? It's a juvenile prison, and that is the exact moment that Heck decides he's going to stick with this kid.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he himself, as we just learn in that scene, he himself has been in prison and come out and can't go back. Part of the whole reason for the manhunt is if he gets caught, he's going straight to prison.
Yeah, he seemed really touchy with being called, and I would be as well. You know, when the three other hunters come in and find them, which is a hilarious scene. But when he gets called a pervert,
yeah,
he is like, wait a second,
triggered.
So
really triggered.
You know, I'd be upset if someone did that, and I'd be really worried that someone gets the wrong idea or anything like that. But I'm thinking, hang on, there's something a little bit deeper here, so that might go a little bit into other things. Maybe, you know, Heck is a grifter, or he's a loner. Who knows? Maybe he's orphaned. Maybe he's had some issues as well.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, lots, I would imagine.
Yeah, but they do reveal all these extra little levels of intensity in the telling of this, which goes back to what you were saying. You know, they don't have to say these things. The actors bring it out really well, and seeing Sam Neill in this role,
he is so good.
He's just got this mood about him that is just
it's all in his eyes.
Intense. And he rocks a cool beard.
Oh, one for the ages.
I think I want to grow another beard.
He and Taika were having like a beard growing competition during the making of this film. They shot this film in like 25 days, which is, it's nuts for
wow.
For people who sort of, that means nothing to. It's impressive to film in 25 days of a movie of this scale. Is very impressive.
Yeah,
they would have been moving so quickly.
Oh, they had drones too.
Yeah. A lot of those shots happen after.
Lots of ninjas. Ninjas on payroll are easy because they're masked, and you could just put anyone and say they're a ninja.
You can hire anybody. Yeah, they're probably just people from the set.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk any more about Bella, or about who else? Who else deserves a good mention?
I could for hours. I think we've touched on the cop Andy and
Paula.
and Paula. Of course,
Child Welfare Service.
We've got Child Welfare. We've got Ricky and Uncle Heck and Bella, of course, Reese Darby's character, Psycho Sam. That's kind of it. The three hunters are probably worth a good mention. Yeah. They're very funny and really good together. One of them is who's the singer? Stan. I'm not going to get it. One of them's a very famous New Zealand and Australian singer. He lives in Australia.
Okay.
I can't think of his name. People are going to be yelling at me right now on the screen or through their podcast app. It's fine. If I think of it later, I should have written it down. I was like, I'll remember. Damn it. Very, very treasured performer.
Really?
And a great actor as well. Yeah, he was the Maori actor out of the three hunters.
Okay, all right. I'll take your word for that. I'll take your word for that.
Yeah. So they're really good.
Is he the guy who I don't know? I'm trying to picture them all now. When Ricky and Heck come across the hunters again in the bush, and this shit just.
He's the one that puts his hands straight up in the air.
I still can't remember. All I remember from those three is the Baba Ganoush guy.
Yeah, he's the Baba Ganoush guy.
That's awesome. I love that. The Baba Ganoush guy. You know what I thought you were going to say earlier when you mentioned there was a scene that was used in the trailer? I think it was when you were talking about a comedic one and you spoke about the Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator scene is in the trailer.
I thought you were going to mention another one that I think was in the trailer when they go to their first hut and they find the wanted sign. and they read the descriptions.
I've got that as a what about when. It's so good. Yeah, where they go into they find a hut for the first time. They've been the ankle's healed quite early on, and yeah, they go into the hut and they find out that they're famous. The title card comes up with the chapter just famous. And yeah, they go into the hut and Ricky looks at the
descriptions,
at the description on the wall, and he's like, "Oh, look at this! Ricky Baker, 13, and Hector Faulkner, 65,
60 something."
Yeah, 65. He looks at him, yeah, and he's like, Caucasian. Well, they got that wrong. You're obviously white.
Clearly white.
It's so good.
I love that. Yeah, that's in the trailer as well. I thought you were going to go there.
It's a gem. What a gem of a line.
That'll make an appearance in What About When? Yes, if people stick to the time codes.
Taika was saying in the commentary that he legitimately didn't know what Caucasian was until he was like embarrassingly old, like 20. Is when he sort of realized what Caucasian meant. He thought it meant Asian. He thought it was a type of Asian. So I was still the same. Word. I think I didn't know what it was until I was probably embarrassingly too old as well. But yeah, such a funny line, and he delivers it perfectly. Julian Dennison is a treasure in this film. What a good find. Taika's really good at finding young comedic and dramatic actors. I mean, you look at this and Boy and like Jojo Rabbit as the most recent example at the time of this recording. The young kid in that Roman is really good.
Julian's done a couple of films. I looked on his IMDb profile. He's got a couple of films that he's done before that. But this one, I guess, would this be his breakout role?
This is absolutely his breakout role, and then he's gone on to do other things as well. He was in Deadpool 2. I think it's probably the biggest film that he's done since this one. Yeah, he's great in that as well.
Cool. Yeah, he's done well. Hopefully he'll still do more stuff.
Yeah,
but he's a twin too. He's a twin.
I think I knew that, but I hadn't had it confirmed. Yeah, I think I saw an interview where he mentioned his brother.
Yeah.
Cool.
Both lovely kids. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, there's so much to talk about. Like we talked about the Bella's ashes and the fight before they go on the run. Nobody listens to me. They'll send me to juvie. It's all like the comedy and the heart and the drama. They work so seamlessly together. You can't have one without the other. Like the comedy wouldn't be as funny if the movie didn't have as much heart, and you wouldn't feel those real beautiful moments unless the movie was hysterical and you were endeared to these characters. Yeah, it's a perfect mix, this film. I think it's wonderful and definitely deserving of having a spot on the movie calendar.
Yes, we've got a good date for it as well, which we'll get to. Can we talk about Rhys Darby a little bit? Not too much. I think just... Look, I don't want to spoil too many what about whens, but it was so nice to see him in this film. And, again, I think I said earlier that this film has so many great lines. When I watch it, I try to, I jot down a note quickly of what was amazing so that I don't have to miss too much. I was pausing nearly after every line was delivered. I'm like, gotta write that one down too. Play. Pause.
There's so many. Again. It's infinitely quotable.
But when they're in the bunk in Rhys Darby's in Psycho Sam's caravan, and there's a really nice touching scene
it's beautiful
when they turn out the lights and another haiku gets read, and I think
Ricky's
that's where he
about
says and I think that's where Heck says you're quite likable, and they go, all right.
It's like it's the first, because he goes silent, and he's like, didn't you like it? He's like, no, it's the I've never heard my name in a poem before. It was really nice.
And they talk about
it's so good. Watch this movie.
Some families don't have children, and some kids want them but can't have them, and some can have them but don't want them. That was incredibly poignant, and you could see Ricky just kind of having this realization that she didn't want me. He started to go back into that stream of consciousness again, and Heck's like, don't be silly, she was probably just too young, she loved you, don't worry about that. Like, he's such a protector, he's such a lovely guy.
We haven't really spoken too much about themes for this one, but if there was one overarching, it would definitely be the theme that family can come from anywhere.
Family can come from anywhere, and how important family is. I actually did write that down. It's right towards the end in the scrap metal yard where
in the
he
shootout.
says you don't quit on family. I can't remember the line. I'll find it here, but he said something. You don't trade family for anything.
Yeah,
That's it. And Ricky screams it. It's so hard because he's just found a family finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
So you can totally understand Ricky's reaction when Heck is ready to give up.
Yeah.
Because he's feeling abandoned again in his life. He loses his mum and his dad and his other families, and he's in and out of juvie and lost Bella. Like he's been abandoned so many times in his life. So once he's built this incredible relationship, and they were out together in the wild for months and months, like a long, long time. It was probably like 6 months. And because at one point they say, how long has it been since you showered? Oh, like a month, or we've been out for 4 months. You never really know how long it's been.
But you see it snow.
Long enough. Yeah, like it snowed. Accident, by the way. It wasn't supposed to snow, and they happened to catch a day where it snowed for a couple of hours, and then they had this nice thing, and they shot everything in the snow like in the next few hours while it was still fresh.
That's so
all
cool.
all real snow. Very lucky. Taika was hoping for it, but they actually got it. So
really
then
nice.
Heck, like when Heck is like, I give up. Yeah, Ricky's probably feeling abandoned again, and has like dramatically overreacts as a young teenager probably would, who's been through what he's been through. Yeah, it's really well earned, that ending. It makes sense for all of the characters.
It's a very strong family, bonding type of film, and how at the end they come together, and he's, I'm guessing, adopted or fostered by the other family that we've had a brief encounter with. Yeah, was a really nice way for that to come together. I do. Was nice. The way Sam Neill did this role, I think he really, while Julian Dennison is incredible, a great actor, and he did so well with all this, I think I feel Sam held this together.
Yeah, he was the MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's so subtle. You said it was all in his eyes. Oh, look, he has this,
just at a glance,
this gruff exterior, and through the singing of the Ricky Baker, Ricky Baker, just how you get a shot of him every now and then, and he is not having a bar of it. He hates that he has to sit here through this. He's nearly embarrassed. He's nearly embarrassed. But when they give him his present, when they give Ricky Tupac, and Bella and Heck are standing at the back of the shed, and you see kind of a long shot where they're in the distance, and they're hugging each other, and Heck's
they love each other so much.
They love each other, and Bella gives him a little squeeze, like, come on, give us a smile. And the first time nothing happens, but after that he kind of like nearly nuzzles into her, and he's so in love with her, and he so shows this adoration for everything that she's doing for this poor kid, and that's the first time I saw him break, and I was like, okay, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Good. We're just going to get through that exterior.
And he's the king of the reaction shot. Like during the Amber story, it flashes to him for just a few frames, and he just the way he darts his eyes at Ricky, the realization on his face, it's all there in that fraction of a second. It's such a good performance, and he does it multiple times during the film. Like when he finds Ricky for the first time out in the wilderness because he's run away, and they have this argument, like, I hate you too. And Ricky says, I hope you die. He says, I hope you die. And Heck goes, me too. But it tells you so much about that character, because he genuinely, in that moment, like he wants to die. He's going to go out into the wilderness and that's it. He's just going to live the rest of his life out there until he dies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's already said, I'm going to go bush. I'll go bush for a bit. And when that child services letter comes through, and he tells Ricky to read the letter. Read this out loud.
We don't know. He can't read yet.
Wow. Yeah. No, Sam does a good job. And you said it's all in the eyes. He's wearing this broad-brimmed hat.
Like, I really like...
beard.
Yeah. I really like that when Ricky read that letter, it's read entirely while the camera is looking at Uncle Hector.
Really?
Because it's being read. Yeah, it's being read, and he's processing the letter as if he is reading it.
Yes.
Because he is for the first time, so you get to watch the reaction on his face during the entire letter of it saying that the services are going to take Ricky Baker back now that Bella's gone. And you watch his performance in that, and it's just it's amazing. He's so good in this role, the best he's been since Jurassic Park, probably even better. I think it's his best role. I haven't seen everything he's done, but he's marvelous.
Yeah, no, he's good. The way they bring the character to life and allow him to open up ever so gently more and more to Ricky. I mean, Ricky also saves his life. He jumps in front of the wild pig and nails that shot.
So good. He's got the knack.
He's got the knack, yeah. And it's that he has to put his own dog down. He's like, just go. Yeah, I've got to do this, and you see it. Wow. And when they're building the little shrine to Zag.
Oh, yeah.
What are you scratching on there? Zag, and he goes, "Yep, good.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yep, that's all you need."
It's a beautiful film, and like you said, you thought it was a comedy and turned out more drama. I think it's a drama that's dotted with funny bits.
It's really well done. I really like how it ends as well. This will probably be the last thing. Do you have anything else? Because this will be the last thing I say before I want to go into what about whens.
No, I think yes, I do. Yeah. One other thing.
Other thing.
There's a reference to Animal Farm.
The book.
Yeah, the book Animal Farm. At the beginning, it's one of the books that Bella leaves for Ricky in the room. And in the first hut that they find, they go in and he goes, books, toilet paper, fire. And he's looking at the books and is it the same book? Does he put Animal Farm on the shelf?
Animal Farm on and takes another book. So he's like swapping them out as he goes.
Oh, isn't he a nice boy?
Yep.
Okay. I was thinking maybe there was something about Animal Farm, and then I'm trying to think back to grade 8 when we did Animal Farm in school. I think, and all I remember is we're all equal, but some of us are more equal than others. That's all I remember from that whole book, and I'm trying to think, is that legit with something that's going on? I don't know. I did want to say, yes, there were two things. I think there were a couple of little parallels to a lot of other films here with little pieces. Not when they talk about other films, like one that we're going to hear
Terminator,
about What About When.
And
at the end, did it remind you a little bit of Thelma and Louise? Driving
a lot of Thelma and Louise into the driving.
Yeah.
And also Butch Cassidy. No. What's the Bonnie and Clyde?
Oh, Bonnie. Okay, yeah. The two runaway. Yeah. I thought maybe a bit of Blues Brothers with this over-the-top
car,
police chase.
Just the random car that flies up was so great. I think Taika would have loved doing that.
They drive the car over the road where there's a tourist taking photos, and it goes behind him, and then there's that cop car that flips over the other one. But I think just the craziness of, well, it looks like they got the whole army after them. They're not even, they don't know they're criminals. So there's that, and there's another point, a link to The Sound of Music. Here we go. When they're across the ravine, Terminator moment,
right?
And Paula realizes she's not gonna get them to surrender themselves. Have you seen The Sound of Music?
Yes, not for many years.
We're going to talk about it here, and it will go on the movie kit. Look, I don't know if it will, maybe not. Anyway, they go.
We'll talk about it.
They're hiding out from the Gestapo, the family, towards the end of the film, and the oldest daughter has a relationship with a boy who turns out to be a soldier, and they're looking through the monastery, and he sees her, and she steps out, and they have a talk, and she says, Hans, I think his name's Hans, Fred, I don't know. It's fine, shh, please be quiet. And he's like, and he has a turning point, and he just whistles and goes, they're here. I felt that exact same thing with Paula.
The link.
And she's like, they're here, I've got him. Because she realizes, no, can't do it. I don't think Taika would have written it like that, thinking of The Sound of Music.
Yeah.
And I see you're going, shut up, Terrence. Shut up with your links.
No, look, I'm very proud of you for keeping that one under a minute. Like, I'm genuinely super impressed. That's wonderful. We don't have to time code that one. That's great.
Oh, just time code. I can talk longer.
No, it's okay. We're going to move on.
Let's keep moving.
Just before we move on to What About When, I just want to say I really love how this movie ends. I'm not a huge fan of the traditional Hollywood ending of, it's all, everyone's back together and everything always works out for our protagonists. But in this one, I think it's really well earned. I think the journey that the characters go on, it makes complete sense for them to end up where they are. And it only happens in the epilogue anyway. So, like, the movie, if you take out the epilogue, ends with, them getting captured and Heck going to prison. So, yeah, I really like that the ending is what it is, where they get back together and then end up back out in the bush to try and find the Huia bird. Is really sweet and wholesome. I love the wholesome ending.
It is, and a callback. I think, doesn't Heck say skux life?
Yeah, we didn't choose the skux life.
That's really cool.
Skux life chose us.
I like
so
that.
Good. All right, and with that, we're going to move on to the segment called What About When? So the whole idea with this one is, when you see a movie for the first time with your friends, you leave the theater and you haven't quite processed it yet, so you just, the moments that you're talking about are what about this and what about that. So we've got a few listed down here. We've probably talked about all of them already, but we'll have a bit of a dive into these. I've got a few. If you want to reach out to us with your what about whens for films, do it Twitter, Instagram. They're both at the Movie Cal. Comment down below on YouTube here. Feel free to email us. All of these will be in the links. All these links will be in the description below. Mm-hmm. But do you have any? I didn't receive any what about whens on my end this week. I believe you have. Cool.
I did.
Let's go.
We have. So now I've got a few from around the place, including from me. Let's go with one from Instagram, Steffi R. What about the Ricky Baker song?
Yeah,
that is just classic.
This was hard not to talk about.
Yeah. This
was great. The little Ricky. If you haven't seen the film, there's a great little song that Auntie Bella plays for Ricky's birthday. It's super cute, and you can listen to it. You can find it available to listen somewhere. It'll be on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. There's a lyric video of it as well.
It's super sweet. There's a really fun fact about that scene is that they did about 10 takes of her singing Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
And this film was made at a time when the Happy Birthday song was in copyright. So the Happy Birthday song was owned by Warner Brothers, I believe, at the time, under copyright. And so, they'd gone through about 10 takes, and then a producer came over and was like, you can't use that song. It's not unless you want to pay Warner Brothers a fortune for it. So they brought out this little Casio keyboard, and the actor who plays Bella Faulkner just made it up right there on the spot, and she just did that on her own. So sweet, so cool. I love that necessity being the mother of all invention. With everything, including cinema. And so we got that really beautiful moment out of absolute necessity, because they couldn't afford to sing Happy Birthday. You can do it now. You can sing Happy Birthday in any film now. It is out of copyright, but at the time they couldn't sing it.
Oh man, was it that one take? Do you know any more about it?
It probably took a few
more takes.
I don't know, but she came up with that.
Wow.
Yeah, Rima.
She's amazing. Rima. Yeah, I've got it. Rima
Tawada.
When she performs that, she also messes up and has to start again in the song. Next time you watch it, or watch it on YouTube, and you notice she does a little stuff up, and she goes, and goes back a little bit and does it again. It's unnoticeable.
I didn't notice that at all. It seems so fluid. And
go watch it. It's amazing.
The song also comes back in the credits later as well, which is super nice.
Performed by a band.
No idea who it is. You can look that up. By the way,
while we're talking about songs, the Leonard Cohen song was called "The Partisan."
Oh, awesome!
So go look that up and look at the lyrics and see the relevance.
All right. Next, what about when?
Next, what about?
Thank you, Steph.
She did say two others. She said,
cool.
What about the "This shit just got real" scene?
Oh, with the rifle.
This shit just got real.
This shit just got real.
I don't know if this is. I don't know how to do guns.
Oh, who knows? I don't know how to fire a gun.
That's really cool. And she also said that Sam Neill's haiku at the end was the best haiku. It was touching and her favourite one.
That's a sweet one.
I'm going to read that one out. I'm going to read it out.
Go for it. That's a sweet one.
I'm going to read it like he did. Me and this fat kid, we ran, we ate and read books, and it was the best.
The best, yeah.
Very
it was
cool.
really sweet. And he's reading as well, sitting on the step when Ricky turns up, which it's nice to see that he's learning how to read, inspired by Ricky. That's super sweet. So those were the 3 from Steph.
Yep. I've got a few
they're
more,
really cool. Yeah,
let's do
go
one
for
from
it.
you. No, you do.
Well,
Let's go one each.
mine are mine. I'd rather, just in case we run out of time, I'd rather do the people who have actually contributed.
Okay, that was Steph. Now, my wife said, look, you got to do this. What about when we see that whole funeral scene play out?
Oh, it's so good. That's one of mine. I've got the minister at the funeral. Inspired. This scene was inspired by something that actually happened to Taika Waititi. He went to a funeral and there was a minister like this. No joke, no word of a lie. It is based on reality, which is just so weird and bizarre. But yeah, Taika Waititi himself, if you weren't aware, in the director actor that he is, he plays the minister with another glorious beard, and it's one of the funniest scenes where he's talking about. When sometimes in life you come up to doors and there's an easy door to go through that's just full of all these beautiful treats like
the
Fanta
nummiest
the nummiest
treats.
Fanta and LMP and
Doritos.
Doritos. It's the Dorito door, and then what's behind the other door? Was it
Vegetables.
Ricky jumps in with, is it vegetables? No, it's not vegetables.
Oh, it's about something about Mary. There's something about Mary connection where he's got the 7-minute abs, and Ben Stiller's character goes, "What about 6-minute abs?" He goes, no, not 6-minute abs, 7-minute abs. Okay, if you've seen something about Mary, you know what I'm talking about. Get back to it. Yeah, and
that's
the second door.
No, we're done. You broke the flow. You've seen the movie.
The second door.
It's such a good scene. That's such a good scene.
Jesus. All right.
I've got that one down.
Okay, what about when... this one is also from my wife. What about when he references Lord of the Rings?
Oh, yeah, we're there. So, complete accident on the day. They were just looking for a place for the 2 actors to hide while the sort of cops and SWAT, and they're not SWAT, but they're, you know what they are. They're the actual cops with guns are searching for them, and they are down on the little bank, and they're hidden underneath, and the police are walking up above them. And Ricky Baker's got the... It's like Lord of the Rings. And he's trying to mime what Lord of the Rings is, and Heck has no idea what's going on. And they end up getting out, and he's like, it was like Lord of the Rings. Complete accident. They were just looking for a place for the guys to hide, and it just organically happened because they weren't trying to do it, but it just looked so much like that scene that they had to call it out, otherwise other people would have.
Wait, it was an accident? What do you mean? Did they just ad-lib that?
Well, no. So they'd set up the shot.
Yeah.
They're like, "School, you guys are going to have to hide. We have to find a place for you to do it." And they set it up. And then, like, as they were doing it, they were like, "Oh, it's like Lord of the Rings. Like, we can't not address it. Like, if we don't say it, some other people will." So, yeah.
Oh, I just love how Ricky stands up and he goes, I was trying to tell you, it's like Lord of the Rings. And then just so nonchalantly and just walks off. And Sam Neill's face is just...
Heck has no idea what he's talking about. It's great.
That was beautiful. I have one... Do you... Okay, I'm going to say one word, and I'm going to let you do it if you have this one.
Trapdoor?
Bunker? Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
So this is my one. Was this your what about when, or is this someone else's as well?
This was mine, but I don't.
Okay, cool. So this is Terrence and mine's what about when. So yeah, and like again, in the spirit of when you leave the theater, this is what you think about. This one for sure. When they're at Psycho Sam's house, they're kind of getting comfortable. They've stayed the night. Heck's out the back having a smoke, and Ricky sees the police are coming through the bushes, and so he runs around like, we've got to go. No, it's fine, we've got plenty of time. No, we've got to go. They're here, the police are here. runs in and tells Sam, and there's the jetpack line before that as well. Sam, what's the fastest way out of here? Jetpack.
You have a
They go
jetpack.
around. No, what? They go around the back. They're like, we have to get out of here. How do we do it? And Sam just remembers instantly. Oh my god, I've got a trap door. We can go through the trap door. Yes. They run around the back, and he lifts up the handle of the door, and it's just on the flat ground. And he's like, oh, I haven't dug it yet.
In my underground bunker.
It's
what
too
have I
good.
been doing with my life?
It's too good. I don't do it justice. Rhys Darby is a far better comedian than I will ever hope to be. It's worth seeing the film for that moment alone. It's too good.
That is great.
Yeah, I haven't dug it yet.
Oh, I love it. And then his reaction is, I don't know what we could do. Quick, play dead.
Yeah.
It won't work if we don't all do it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yes, I like that
So that's
a
it.
little bit.
So that's What About When. If you'd like to contribute to this segment in the future, we're going to announce what we're going to be speaking about next week very soon. If you have any What About Whens for that film, which there will be plenty, especially one big one, you'll know it as soon as I mention what the film is. You can reach out Twitter, Instagram, at the Movie Cal, or comment down below. But now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the reason why we do this whole thing.
If I had a Casio Tone MT1132 key, I would play an intro
theme song.
thing.
We don't have a theme song. We are at the movie calendar, so it's time to choose a date that this film is going to go on. Now, we didn't collaborate on this one before we started this episode, but right before we started recording, I was like, I have a date in mind, and Terrence had a date in mind. We're like, okay, this could be interesting. And then we realized that it was the exact same date, which we were super happy with. So then by all means, Terrence, do the honors of telling everybody when this film is going on the movie calendar and why.
Okay, so we have to do it justice. It would have been great if we knew the date that Ricky Baker's birthday fell on. This
would have been awesome.
The very first birthday that he's experienced. It's the first time he's felt like he's belonged. There's so much weight behind this moment. We thought, let's find out. Leah's reached out to Taika.
I tried tweeting. I tweeted at Taika, and I tweeted at Julian Dennison, and no response. But hey, that's all right. That's just the way it goes.
And maybe there was no birth date. It is irrelevant in the film, possibly. Who knows? But we thought, what are some other things we can do? And I think almost to honour that, it was, let's see if we can find out what Julian Dennison's birthday is. And we did. And we're going to put it on his birthday because this is also an incredibly huge film in his career.
Yeah,
and
breakout
his
role.
Birthday. Now, am I announcing or you announcing? You've announced it. You do it. Go. You're going.
Well, people could have googled it in the time, but yeah. So it is going on officially on the movie calendar. Hunt for the Wilderpeople will be on October 26th.
Yes.
Ta-da! Here it is on the screen.
Yay.
Yeah. So really cool. So on that day. Going forward, if you're wondering what film you can watch, you've got it there. Open the calendar. Hunt for the Wilderpeople.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Great film.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
I'm happy with that. I would have loved to have found out Ricky Baker's birthday, but didn't get it in time. That's okay. It's locked in now. It is on the calendar. Still no word yet about the John Wick date.
Yeah,
if you were here last week, that one's still out in the open in the air. If you are. If you want to find out, we're trying to find out what date 8711, which is the production company, the stunt production company that it was founded by the directors David Leitch and the other one.
Chad Stahelski.
Chad Stahelski. I'm so sorry, Chad. We're trying to find out what, like they're ever going to watch this, what date 8711 was founded. So it was founded in 1997. I just want to know what date in that year was that company founded so that we can put the movie John Wick on that date. So first person to find that out gets a free movie calendar when this is all finished in however many years it takes. But And you know about that already.
We should also say the movie calendar is going to be a physical, like a calendar. It's not going to be
like
that we send
calendar.
you the movies that are on the calendar.
It'll be digital.
misconstrued.
It'll be available for digital purchase as well. We'll make up a nice digital calendar that you can purchase. But a physical one we're hoping to do, which will be nice to have in the home,
in the living room.
Yeah,
The
pop
movie room.
it up in your bathroom, wherever you put your calendar. I haven't owned a physical calendar for years, but this will be definitely one to get.
This will be the first one. All right,
awesome. So next week.
Yes. All
Wow.
right, next week.
We finally got there.
Next week.
We thought this episode was going to be shorter. Let's not do that joke again. Legitimately.
I think it's shorter than other ones, yeah.
I think it has been shorter. Well, we'll get to the end right now. So, we're going to be taking a dive into a genre of film that we haven't yet in the movie calendar. Now, I know that we're quite a young podcast. So in the spirit of that, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. If you are watching on YouTube, a very small thing that you can do to help us out, as you've probably noticed or may not have noticed, there has been no ads for this. That is a deliberate thing at this stage to while we're young, a young podcast to just make it a bit easier for our audience. A thing that you can do to help us out is to hit the like button on YouTube here. That'll help. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe already. And if you are listening to us in audio format, most people listen through the podcast app on iTunes. You can give us a nice review through the app, right on your device, right on your phone. And that'll help us out as well to help get discovered. So thank you for that in advance.
Yeah, we're on Spotify and Breaker and a few others too. So check them all out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Huge percentage mostly listen through the podcast app. But if on your app of choice, if you give us a nice review, that'll be super lovely. Next week, we're delving into the realm of sci-fi for the first time. There was a few different films that we wanted to talk about with sci-fi, and they will be talked about in the future. Mm-hmm. But we decided to go with a classic for the first one that we spoke about. So next week, make sure you think of a date and get in your hashtag #WhatAboutWhens, all about the movie Alien. Now that is Ridley Scott's Alien, not James Cameron's Aliens. That might make a spot in the calendar at some point, who knows. But Alien, the original sci-fi horror classic. This is not one for the children. Do not watch this one with the kids. This is an adults only affair. Mm-hmm. Give that one a rewatch if you haven't seen it recently. Check out your local streaming services or rent or buy it to give it a watch before next week, and give us your contribution so that we can talk all about Alien.
Yeah, and if you've got any feedback for us, let us know. Email us, jump on the website, we've got a contact form. Yes, we are still young. We hope we can deliver this stuff as concise and as well as we can. So please help us out, and we'll make it something that you actually might want to listen to the whole thing of one day.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful.
All right. Well, as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this week's episode. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We still haven't had anyone pick a date for a movie on the calendar as of yet. First one of those will be really nice. Be sure to get those in. And I guess we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Terrence.
Let's do it.
For this once again. And we'll see you next week for Alien. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
All right. Bye.